What's up, everybody? So, I figured today I'd do a little explanation for you guys and try and kind of explain to you what ground effect is. So, what ground effect is essentially is when you're flying very low over the runway or just the ground in general, and you're kind of floating on this little pocket of air that's created since the wings are so close to the ground. Air is easily compressible, but whenever you're against a hard surface such as the runway or the grass, the air is compressed in between the ground and in between the wings compared to when you're flying, and the air is just compressed against itself. You have a lot more air to compress. So essentially, since you're so low to the ground and you're smushing that air up against the ground, you're kind of riding that cushion of air like a wave, and it's just holding you there inches above the runway. And if you were to actually pitch up and change your attitude, you wouldn't actually be able to climb out of it without extra power. So I'm going to show you here pretty much exactly what I'm talking about. Alright, so what we're going to do here is try and fly as slow as possible right above the runway, essentially to the point where we are just barely above the ground, and if I were to actually try and climb out, it wouldn't allow me because I would be stuck in ground effect. So we're going to shoot for about 35 miles an hour, ground speed, that is, and we're going to see how that goes. So let's see. Alright, we are in the air. We are doing 38 for our ground speed. Try and pull it back just a little bit more. And we are pretty much just floating over the runway. Let's see if I were to try to climb out. We kind of just settle right back down here because we are stuck in ground effect. Now if you noticed, I was holding that same attitude, and we actually climbed up for a second. We got the top of that little air cushion that we were riding on, and we just kind of settled right back down onto it. Now, I'll show you, whenever I'm in the air, we'll try and cruise at around that 38 mile an hour mark. And what's going to happen is we're just going to slowly sink back down to the ground. But since we've got a tailwind here, I'm going to fly to the other side of the runway and come back in the other way. Alright, so like I said, I'm going to try and get a little bit of altitude, and then we're going to try and hold that same speed without actually sinking. But what you'll notice is I'm going to hold that same kind of pitch to hold myself there, and it's going to slowly sink down into it very slowly. So let's see here. Alright, now I'm going to slowly pull back here on the throttle, and I'm going to pull back a little bit on the stick, and you'll see we're doing 33, but we're slowly coming down here, very slowly. We're going to go ahead and go around here. Now I don't have too much fuel here, so we're going to go ahead and head back to the runway. Go ahead and pull that power all the way back here. And we are coming down. There we are. Back on the ground. Hopefully you guys learned a little something from that short little lesson. And I could probably go a little bit more in depth into it if you guys would like in another video. But I'd like to know how you guys are liking the educational content and stuff like that. If that's something you guys would like to see more often, I can do little bits kind of explaining different parts of aviation and flying and how it works, demonstrate it, and then, you know, the whole reasoning behind it. So you guys just let me know. But until next time, thanks for watching.